Wow. One Piece 769. Damn. See, I thought Law was legit gonna pull it off, man. I legit thought Law was gonna pull it off. I thought, okay, he's got his ass. Doflamingo's been studying this dude the whole time. So when Law just throws that tower at him, Doflamingo breaks it apart. When Law uses chambers, tries to get the drop on him, Doflamingo just grabs his wrist and says, like, man, when would you learn? When will you learn? You can't just keep using the same attacks over and over and think you're going to stop me. It doesn't work that way. You freaking idiot. It doesn't work that way. You can't stop me using these simple attacks. And he says, you're starting to turn into all these other impotent fools. And as he's taking Law up into the air, right? As he's taking him into the air, and Law's just saying, like, man, you know, your brother didn't die for anything. You know, he wasn't a failure. You know, like, the fact that I'm still here is proof that his legacy lives on. And Doflamingo just rubs in his face. It's like, yeah, you know, if you would have gave those plans to somebody else, I just would have changed my plans. I still would have taken this land. This was inevitable. And, you know, he says, like, oh, you think that, you know, fate brought you here. You got influenced by the other D. I'll take care of this. And he just chops Law's arm off and sends him flying down to the ground. And he prepares to execute him. He prepares to execute him. And when he's getting ready to do it, he's just like, look, you know, it's not an execution unless you use hot bullets. And, you know, at this point, it's like Doflamingo has reached that point where he legit doesn't give a fuck. And one of the things he really says that really hits home is he says, if you really wanted to kill me, your plan to pit Kaido against me was flawless. If you would have stuck to that and saw things through the way that they should have, it probably would have worked. And he says, like, when you have people that you can't bring down yourself, there are a bunch of ways to bring them down. But the moment you decided to let your personal feelings, your feelings about avenging Corazon, the moment you decided to do that, that's the moment that you lost. That was it. Your fate was sealed. And that is so true because, you know, in life, you know, it's very, sorry to put this, it's very easy to allow our emotions to dictate. You know, our emotions will blind us from seeing the truth. Our emotions will blind us from seeing the truth. And so I really like how we get that moment with Law, where Law gets the truth put in his face. And yet now he's actually calm. Whereas Doflamingo is the one who's enraged. Doflamingo is the one who's allowing his emotions to take forward. And just when he's getting ready to execute Law, you know, Luffy, you hear Luffy saying jet gatling, and you see like the smoke and everything. And I'm thinking, okay, Luffy's about to come in and mess stuff up. Like Luffy's coming in clutch at the last second, and then you see like the doppelganger all of a sudden just being broken down into pieces. I was like, oh shoot, okay. Luffy was fighting the doppelganger. I forgot all about it. And he was fighting Bellamy. And, you know, what you get is, you know, Bellamy finally gets released. And you get the little flashback where, you know, you see just how much he idolized Doflamingo. And I like how Bellamy at the end of this, at the very end of this, you know, when he gets ready to spring into the air, you know, he says, like, look, I don't care what you're saying about me getting ready to kill myself. He says, you need to stop feeling concerned for your enemy. And he's putting, Oda blacks it out and makes it where there's a bunch of emphasis on enemy. He says, I understand I chose the wrong man to idolize and how pitiful that makes me, but I don't want to be pathetic enough to lash out at the man I chose to follow just because his answer wasn't what I wanted to hear. If I'm going to be an idiot, I'm going to see that choice all the way through to the end. Now, you guys know how I feel about that, you know, because my old football coach used to say, you know, if you screw up all the way. If you're going to make a mistake, you know, make the highlight reel. You know, see it all the way through. You know, basically be a man and commit. See your commitments through until the very end, regardless of how it makes you look. And that's kind of what we got here, where he says, this is my final battle, Straw Hat, so indulge me. You know, Bellamy knows he's dying. He knows this is it for him. And yet, because he knows that that's the outcome, from him, even though he knows he's made mistakes along the way, he's not allowing his mistakes to hold back his future. You know, he's gonna end things on his term, and I really like that. You know, this is one of those moments that's gonna be it's gonna set the stage for what happens with Luffy versus Doflamingo, because now we're getting more emotional investment for Luffy. So I mean, I'm very curious to see how this ends. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching until the end of the video, guys. Have an awesome day.
「